And the conversation and the game continues. Welcome back to the USS Challenger. This is part 2 of the adventure we started. In fact, the title of this adventure is Bedlam on Baham. Okay, so that's Bedlam on Baham. You can actually find this if you're looking for it in the... Oh, now I gotta make sure I don't make the wrong title. It's a free mission brief pack that you can get at Modifius website. And the mission brief set is actually trade ledgers written by some guy named Michael Dismuke. He's a jerk, I heard, but he writes really good Star Trek Adventures mission briefs. All right, and so with that, what we're going to do interestingly this time is you already know the cast of characters from USS Challenger if you came in last week, but we are focusing on supporting characters and the supporting character mechanic for everybody. So what we're going to do a little differently this time in reverse Challenger crew rank order, we're going to have you introduce the supporting character that you are playing. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with Jim. Introduce yourself and the supporting character you're playing this round.
All right, hey everybody, I'm Jim. I'm the project manager, line editor for Star Trek Adventures, Captain's Log, blah, blah, blah. You know me. You've been watching the show anywhere over the last 4.5 years. You know who I am. My main character for this campaign is Ensign Tenon. He's the communication officer. But for the supporting character for this particular episode, I'll be playing Lieutenant J.G. Rashid Kamal, the hotshot pilot.
Yeah, as found in the starter kit. You can find that stat sheet in the starter kit being displayed by our next person, Meric Moir. Introduce yourself and the supporting character you're playing.
Hey, I'm Meric Moir. I'm a writer on the Star Trek Adventures TTRPG. Today, my main Challenger crew is Lieutenant Commander Burke Van Jaxa, but I will also be playing, and I'll pop this up right here, a Vulcan tactical officer named Vic. He's a little bit of a stern, you know what, we're going to go real, like straight, no emotions Vulcan because Dr. Viral is covering the other interpretation.
I love that, as seen last week. And let's do a plug for BC's character creator, which we use to create these amazing supporting characters that we'll be going to be playing. Let's go in
10 seconds, like so fast.
Good. Awesome. And the pictures you're seeing come up of these supporting characters, I want to remind you, I scraped all of the Star Trek Adventures publications to find anything that looks Strange New World, Discover, TOS era for these costumes. And that is going to be our crew on the USS Challenger until we run out of them. All right, let's go next to Al Spader.
Hey everyone, Al Spader, back again to play Dr. Viral on the planet's surface on the ship. Dr. Viral will be on the ship. And then I will be playing Commander Xanthus Thravik on the planet's surface as my supporting character.
There we go. And on our group sheet, which we're all sharing, I will activate these characters and put them in here so that we have them listed in our crews here. All right. And finally, last but not least for sure, BC Holmes.
Hi, I'm BC Holmes. I'm the current maintainer of the Star Trek Adventures character creator. I'm playing, under normal circumstances, Commodore Nella Zen, the commanding officer of the ship, but I'm also playing the supporting character of Ensign Saskia Hansen, who is one of the nurses of the sick bay and has been tasked to lead the medical group going down below.
That's right. Cool outfit uniform too, the all white, which we love. All right, good. All right, so with that said, we're going to jump into this. Again, you could watch last week to kind of get a better idea of the setting and the interesting characters like the Bazul, which we're going to be meeting and interacting with this round. But why don't we start by having the famous Captain's Log read?
Sure. Commodore's Log Supplemental. The USS Challenger has arrived in the Baham system in response to a distress call from the Bazul people, a civilization of sentient fungal life forms. They claim to be the victims of an unprovoked attack. As the Federation is currently considering the Bazul for Federation membership, we have been ordered to intercede on their behalf.
All right, very good. As a reminder for those who watch, we have some really cool traits in play. Augmented planetary data. Dr. Viral understands physiology. Thorough astropolitical awareness, away team support for engineering and medical staff potency 2, and a complication that was rolled last time that I turned into the trait residual background radiation hampering medium and long range scans in the system. All right. So we're going to start this scene actually where we're the crew on the planet beams in. Okay. I think that would be where we'd start in the TV show after hearing that wonderful log. And so beaming down into and I place this as part of the traits into the fog enshrouded coastal city, and also evacuation in progress. Those are 2 traits that you're going to see as you beam down to this coastal city. It's cold. I grew up in a small town called Pacifica, and there's always this breeze coming in with the fog. Everything's a little moist on the surface. That's how it would look also as you see thousands of the Bazul, which are these sentient life forms that resemble salamander, kind of fungal, mossy things. They stand about a meter high, so maybe the tallest ones are at your hip, and they're packing their bags, and many of them are evacuating a coastal city, and they're heading into the water in droves to their safe subterranean areas. But there's so many of them, the chance that they're actually going to be able to totally evacuate within the given time is going to be really hard. So it's quite a challenge. So let's go down, and again, there's going to be engineering and medical support team that are kind of spreading out, but our camera zooms in on 4 of our characters. So let's restate again who's down there. We have Ben Jaxa.
Lieutenant Commander. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Please.
Oh, Lieutenant Commander Burke Van Jaxa. I'm assuming that we've also beamed down with our communications equipment on like one of the floaty dollies.
Yep.
Okay,
Sounds
perfect.
Good.
So I'm on that.
All right. Ensign Tennant.
Yep, I'm here.
Good. And let's reintroduce which of the supporting characters are there. BC, you want to introduce yours first?
Sure. Nurse Hanson.
Good. And Al, you want to introduce your supporting character?
Yeah, I'll be playing Xanthus Thravik, the commander.
That's right. And we got to remember he's in command of this mission for right now because he's the highest ranking character. And so there's no sign of the attacker or any kind of, attacker when the characters arrive at Baham Prime. It is clear that there's some buildings that are damaged. And from looking at it, you can tell it came from space, like whatever attacked energy weapons from space. And so you're in the fog enshrouded coastal city to learn more about the nature of the attacks. One of the creatures comes up to you, the governor. His name is, and I'll type it in the chat for our Zoom chat, is his full name is Governor Zenite of the 3rd generation. That's how he introduces himself. Governor Zenite of the 3rd generation. And so I'm going to have you each describe one thing you also notice in this coastal fog enshrouded city to create more imagery for us all, starting in rank order. So Commander Thravik, what's another element that viewers would see in this cool coastal city?
So right along the coast are these big, fuzzy lily pad looking things that the evacuants, as they make their way out onto the water, they're stepping on board these things and they're curling up around them and then starting to submerge beneath the water.
Ooh, that's awesome imagery. Oh, that's so beautiful. All right, Vin Jaxa, what else?
I would say let's have some local wildlife. So maybe there's like a herd of terrestrial creatures. Also, we'll say quadrupeds as well, so we're not like messing around with limbs, but they are sort of like moving in a general panic away from the city, and you can kind of see them in the distance.
Okay, very nice. All right, let's see. We have to determine the. Oh wait, why did I have Ben Jaxa? Oh, that's your character. I shouldn't have said Ben Jaxa. Wait, are you on? Yeah, you're on the ground. You're there. That was fair.
I am.
All right, sorry. What rank is Nurse Hanson, by the way?
Hanson, but I suspect that that
Tenon outranks
Tenon
his
outranks.
senior staff. That's right. So Tenon, what's your description that we're seeing?
You said that there was damage to what from space?
So the external building structures that are on the surface, because we're not in any of the underwater areas. On the coastal city, there's damaged buildings that look like your tactical assessment is that energy from space hit them.
And then so the building structures are actually massive trees and plants there's some building material that has been integrated with the natural wildlife and flora. So it's difficult to tell where a building begins and the trees end. It's all very integrated together into. So when you're looking at the damage to the buildings, there's also damage to trees. So there's probably a ground cover of damaged branches and leaves and other types of foliage that's just showing off part of the damage that had been occurred.
Clearly. Nice. Okay. And Ensign Hansen?
So I think you went the same place I was going to go, which is after Al talked about the lily pads, I was thinking, oh, this place must have some sort of biotechnology or for their building materials. So I was thinking, like, instead of concrete walls, there's sort of fungal grown walls and stuff like that. So I think that, having the approximate appearance of like concrete barriers, etc., what we really see is that they're made of a sort of grown out fungus material.
I like that. And the visuals you've all described kind of makes me picture this evacuation isn't solely happening down streets and corridors. People are actually crawling down walls and crawling outside of buildings, passing each other, equipment, technology, luggage. All the children are on the backs of the adults. Okay, this is really cool. And you beam down, I would say, in the city square, which is almost like a grove of trees, technological trees and tall buildings. All right. And so the governor Zenite of the third generation looks at the stripes on Thravik and approaches him first. And there's others. He has some delegation behind him. Welcome, crew of the Challenger. We are so glad you're here. I hope we can evacuate the full citizenry before the next attack. It's due in less than 24 hours.
Welcome, Governor Zelnite. It is Zenite. It's a pleasure to meet you. Now, you know when the next attack is coming? What? Can you tell me more?
Indeed, we do. It was 6 days ago that a triangle-shaped ebony ship appeared in the sky with no warning. It destroyed our only two starships, our two warp-capable starships in orbit, and then it began to fire on us from orbit. It sent a single message telling us that we had to evacuate in 7 days. That was 6 days ago.
Interesting. And you were never able to reconnect comms with them?
No, unfortunately, they destroyed our main communication array in the attack.
Very well. All right. Well, we need to make sure that this evacuation does remain calm and orderly. And you have no idea anything else about this triangular ship where it came from?
We have no idea. We can only guess that it wants something from us. Maybe it wants our planet. We have no enemies that we know of.
Very well. Well, our medical teams have been briefed on your physiology, and if there's anyone injured, we are more than happy to assist. We also have brought gear to reestablish a communications link for you, but it sounds to me like we should probably focus on this evacuation first.
Yes, our city is quite expansive. I just don't see how we're going to get everybody out within 24 hours.
Very well. Well, let me get my team to work, and we will get as many out as we possibly can.
Thank you. I'll also be happy to provide you with any data that we picked up from sensors and communications before they were destroyed.
Do you have a base of operations nearby, or a governor's hall, or anything like that?
Indeed, we do. We can make that our central command center.
All right. Let's. Away team, we're going to head to the Central Command Center first. Medical, you should start scanning and finding anyone that needs assistance, help them get on their feet, and we will do the assessing from the governor's room. So,
Commander, do you want me to scramble the shuttles on standby to begin evacuation procedures?
Yeah, any assist that we can from the ship would be great. So whatever we have for shuttles, just get them down here, and at least we need to get these people away from the city.
Venjax is just going to quickly flip open his communicator and make sure that we still have connection up to the Challenger.
Let's test that out.
All right.
So go ahead and give me a control plus engineering.
Okay.
Difficulty 2. And I'm going to do that because of the residual background radiation.
So we had 3 momentum in the pool. Did we drop down to 2 as we begin our lovely new scene?
Exactly. So I'm just typing that into the Zoom chat too.
Fantastic.
Thank you for the reminder.
Everybody cool if I buy 1 die and see if we can generate a bit more momentum on this?
Yep, go ahead.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, so that was a control engineering.
Correct.
And I don't think any of my focuses are going to apply. Maybe computers?
No.
No, I don't have any applicable focuses, but my control engineering is pretty good at a target number 15, rolling 3 successes, 4, 5, 11.
Nice. And you get 1 momentum. You want that in the pool?
Yeah, we'll just pop that into a pool and see what we figure out.
All right, let's play this out a little bit because we're going to have, play back and forth with the ship. BC, your character is, of course, on the bridge, sitting, commander's in. Though there's a lot of static and, as you flip open your communicator, there's a lot of static. And what do you do in your message? And we'll let Commodore Zen reply.
I'll say... Captain, Venjax always says Commodore. Commodore, we've arrived on the planet. There appears to be a evacuation going. Are you muted, Michael? I don't hear you.
No, I'm making static noises.
Oh, gotcha. There appears to be an evacuation going on. Commander Thoravik is interfacing with the local governor. The communications seem to be... giving us some trouble on this end.
We're seeing that too, Commander. We are reading you now, but the communication is definitely spotty. As soon as you can get that communications relay system up and running, we'll be in a much better position, I'm sure.
The situation down here is quite dire. I will relay that to Commander Thoravik, but we're worried that the people are not going to evacuate in time. They've expressed that there will be an attack within 24 hours.
I hear you. Commander is on the ground and understands the situation best, so take his lead.
Thank you, Commodore. I will have Commander Thoravik report on the tactical situation as he knows it a little bit more than me, and it just kind of hands it over to Thoravik.
Yes, it appears as though this lone triangular vessel barraged the site with energy blasts, Commodore, and they sent 1 message. They will be returning in 7 days. 6 days have since passed. They've been evacuating this whole time, and there's fear that they won't be able to evacuate the rest. We recommend scrambling the shuttles to come assist, and if we can at all get those shuttles set up for submersibility, that would be great. And just be on the lookout for a black triangular ship. It's not something that I recall. Maybe we can scour the databases on board and see if we can figure out who the enemy is.
I'm going to get somebody on the bridge trying to go through the library computers and compare that description with what we know of the local politics. And since we have a good trait on this, it feels like we might actually have a bit of a benefit being able to do so.
I'll tell you right now, we call it this chicken bucket. Nothing in the database is about this.
Okay. Sadness.
All right. Let's go back to the away team real quick and see if there's any other action. I would actually like you guys to do a roll on the. Go ahead. I'm going to do a roll on the evacuation real quick to see if you can provide any estimation to improve it, to give them a better chance, just so you all know how this is going to present after every round, because there's going to just be 3 rounds, and by the time we get to the story end, once we go around the 3, and I want to say around with the main characters, not the supporting characters, that's viewed as like 12 hours each time. So I have an extended consequence going on here, and if you are not able to evacuate everybody within 24 hours, there's still going to be a remainder of thousands of people in the city. So you might be able to expedite it, but I'm going to give you some evacuation roles so you can assist on it. You could have someone assist on you, however you want to combine it. So this evacuation right now in progress, it's difficulty 3, command and insight, plus whatever applicable skill department you think, if you can give me a good explanation on it. So why don't we go ahead and have BC, your character can take the lead role on this. I want to be clear with this with everybody with the supporting character rules. Now that we have an activated supporting character, can they do a difficulty 3 roll, or does it have to be difficulty 0? Can they only assist? We're all want to be super careful on this. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I've always believed that the supporting characters, when played by a player character, can.
Correct. Good. Yep. I think we actually, in my other game, we did establish this just recently. Okay. So if it makes sense, we could have Nurse Hansen do the lead on this, and then have another character assist on command and insight, plus whichever applicable department you can explain to me it should be.
Okay. So the role here is to do an assessment about the likely progress of the evacuation currently.
Yeah, and maybe using like crisis management. Maybe your character was a veteran of the Federation Klingon War and has dealt with stuff like this. So let's get creative with how we apply our departments.
Okay. So I have a focus on emergency medicine. Do you think that might be applicable here?
I would allow it actually in this case because of that experience. Yeah.
All right. Okay. And it's a control. Sorry?
Can the away team trait help in this case?
Yes. Okay. Good. Glad that you created that. Good.
Their combined expertise can support you.
And since that's a 2, that reduces our difficulty by 2. Is that correct?
That's right. So you'd be difficulty 1 at this right now if you did a commander insight plus medicine.
Okay. Sorry, was that control or insight plus medicine? Is that what you meant? Mm-hmm. Sure. So let's go for insight plus medicine, because those are my best stats.
Is anyone assisting? I just want to be aware if we're going to have a character assist. No? Okay.
Well, maybe if I get 10 to help me out in some logistical insights.
Yeah. So Den, you could use your command department, Tendon, as an assist. Okay.
Command and what? Command and
command and yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll assist.
Sure. All right. So insight plus medicine is 11 plus 4 for me. And if emergency medicine is a focus, that feels like it's giving me some good chances here. I got a 1 and a 12. And it's interesting that the one that rolled the 1, was almost ready to stop, and then it hit my keyboard and tipped over to the 1 at the very last minute, which was kind of exciting to see. So I think that's 3 successes for me.
Nice. And then Tenon?
I rolled a 7, so that's 1 more success with the assist.
Wow. So 4, that gives you 3 momentum. So you definitely have an insight on how to get more people out. This is going to be very key on this. So you've taken where maybe before tens of thousands would have perished if they didn't evacuate in time. You've reduced it to about 2,500 people.
Okay, that's still
according to your calculations. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You want to use some of that extra momentum to create a new trait or something?
Yes, let's. What would that new trait be? Something that how about an orderly evacuation plan? Is that a reasonable?
Love it. Love it.
Reasonable trait.
Yeah.
So we're gonna like identify some key locations for shuttles. We're gonna, introduce a little bit of lining up and order and stuff like that to make this thing all be less chaotic, less fighting.
Let's have a little quick scene and then we bank the other momentum?
Yes.
Okay, so let's just have a little quick scene so that we get to show off the character a little bit. So Tenon, you're kind of impressed by what you're seeing in action here. Let's get a little background and conversation on that.
Sure. Well, we've run into situations like this during the Klingon War. I was at least 4 different MASH hospitals during the war, and we've had to evacuate a lot of local populations. What we did is we, coordinated an entire zone here where it was entirely dedicated to shuttle removal. Our triage center will be over there. We'll make sure that we've got some key, guides and question answers at this spot, and this spot. The big goal here is keeping people on focus and making sure they understand what they need to do to get out in an orderly way.
Yep, that makes sense. So Ensign Tenon will take all that, and with the away team support crew that we have that we brought with us, we can get them focused into spreading out and setting up those different triage centers and evacuation centers, and being even more efficient than we were already planning to be with the doctor's additional insight. So we'll work on coordinating that.
This is beautiful. Starfleet at its best. All right, let's give Thravik a roll before we head back up to the ship. What do you want to do?
All right, here we go. So I've been looking at some focuses and such. My thought is I would like to study the energy signature of the weapons that were fired on this city, and then consult with Burke Van Jaxa using his metallurgy to see if there's any place around that might be resistant to the type of energy weapons that have struck the city. In case we can't get everyone out, we can at least find them a safe house within the city where they'll be protected.
I love that. Now, because it's the same round, he won't be able to assist you on this. So we're just going to role play these, giving you advice on this because he rolled already. But I love that idea. So what I'm going to make this difficulty 3. And let me tell you why. Difficulty 2, this is a tactical thing looking around. But in addition, we have a fog enshrouded coastal city. So you're really going by just plans here and no visual at this point, because the fog literally is so dense, just so you all know, you can't even see 5 meters in front of you in some spots. It's really that coastal California level fog. Thule fog is what we call it out here. So this is going to be difficulty 3. And what attribute and department do you want to use with this?
I'm thinking that I'm going to use insight plus security.
Okay.
Right? Learning about different weapons, because I have a focus in energy weapons. So
Meric, you raised your...
know my energy signatures.
Yeah,
I love that.
I'm curious. We did establish that the construction materials were fungally grown and built into the local area. Do they use metal to reinforce some of the things? Because I'm picturing that it could be an interesting use of metallurgy that Van Jaxa would be like, I've never seen this before.
I think it's I didn't have anything planned out about that. So to be honest, I think there's definitely iron ore in use because these are they have spacecraft, which they said their 2 spacecraft were destroyed. So it makes sense there would be metal composites, polymers, there. So the plan is good.
Great. I think Van Jaxa's role play sort of addition to this scene is he's looking at this and being like, they've combined their technology with the local minerals in this interesting way. Look at the tricorder readings. They've aligned and so on, kind of along those. Yeah.
Love it. All right. Cool. You're good to roll then now.
All right. So what do we have for momentum and threat now?
3 and 8.
All right. So I am going to buy 1 dice with 1 threat. And then another dice with 2 momentum.
Got it.
Looking for a target number 14. I have a focus in energy weapons. I also have intense as a species ability. If I buy a die using threat, I get to reroll one. I gain one bonus momentum for each d20 that I buy using that. So I got a 3. I got an 11. I got a 17, and I got a 20. So I have 3 successes plus 1 momentum and a complication.
All right. So, and you have to say, how many bonus momentum did you get?
1 bonus momentum, because this is difficulty 3, so 1 bonus momentum.
Okay. So I'm going to put it all I want to put it all in the pool except the bonus momentum right now. So how many momentum should I be putting in the pool? This is diff 3.
So that I only generated 1 bonus momentum. Otherwise I got 3 successes
and 1 complication. Okay, got it. All right.
So you're gonna say the comp takes away my bonus momentum?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I just need to count it in my head. So I didn't want to mess with the pool. I had momentum to the pool. Okay, so you were you creating a trait on this, by the way? No, you were just asking the question. I just want to be clear on that.
I wanted to create the trait safe house if I could find some place that might be resistant to this type of
Yes. Right? Yes. So I'm gonna put into the trait list that we have here. So there will be a safe house. You're identifying more locations underground as a safe house, and you have 1 bonus momentum you can use.
So I would like to use that to obtain information.
Okay.
On are we looking at like phaser blast, disruptor blast? Like what type of energy are we looking at? Like is it familiar to us or unfamiliar?
Unfamiliar. It's a high intensity plasma.
Okay.
Yeah, high intensity plasma, and I'm adding my 2 to threat. The complication I'm putting into the threat pool, so I have 11 threat now. And by visuals with that obtained information, they told you it was like this bluish plasma bolt that rained from the sky and destroyed these buildings.
Cool, thank you.
All right, fantastic. That's more data, of course, that can be shared with the ship. So we'll just assume the bridge crew has been updated on this. And we're going to just, setting up the next scene, a Zenite of the 3rd generation, when you've identified those spaces, he says, oh my goodness, I actually completely forgot that we have these ancient catacombs, underneath the city that we could, I am concerned about their stability, of course, but it's a risk we may have to take if we want to evacuate all the people in time. Okay, so good catch. Let's cut scene to the bridge now. I'm going to count this actually as the same scene. I'm not going to delete it because it's all within the same time period and you all have been communicating. So I consider it within the same scene. So command, with all this information you have now, Commodore Zen, what do you want to do?
So if we think that this ship is coming back within 24 hours, I feel like, so we have two key things. So one approach here is, can we stop a subsequent attack? And the other is, what else can we do from here to assist the evacuation procedures? When these people are evacuating, are they evacuating only to our ship or to other cities on the planet or to...
Primarily, they've been evacuating to the ocean.
I see.
They've been moving in streams into the ocean primarily. They will now have additional with your shuttles. They will also have an underground option that some of them can go into.
Okay. So presumably we don't have a whole lot of maneuverability room if we're taking in shuttles with evacuees on them. We kind of have to stay in place. We do have some impediment in terms of our ability to scan, but I am inclined to 7 days. That seems like a long time ago.
6 days.
6 days ago seems like a long time ago, so it seems unlikely that we're going to be able to scan for any sort of residual incoming effect. I don't know. I feel like what I primarily want to do is try to do something that can help identify. I'm going to turn to to the bridge crew and say, all right, I think we need to figure out who this potential attacker is. Ideas, people.
Remember, everyone at home can't hear you if they're listening to the podcast. So
Yeah.
even if you're thinking, I have no idea, it's good to say, I have no idea.
Yeah, sure. Seeing a lot of people, rolling their eyes and staring at the ceiling.
I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, I've got a new character. What does the Vulcan do?
That doesn't make good television, does it? If we're all just kind of like staring at it.
Exactly. It does not.
All right.
Ooh,
It's not good radio either.
Go ahead.
Commodore, we are on. This is Lieutenant JG Kamal. We are on the farthest frontier of the Federation. We're in largely uncharted space. We have a few known polities near us. It could be mercenaries. It could be a species that we're not even familiar with, that we haven't had any opportunity to encounter. I do know this region from the war. A number of mercenaries and free traders headed into this area of the Alpha Quadrant. It could be any number of them. I've done a quick scan of the computer database, but nothing's coming up with a hit for a black triangular warship that fires plasma-type weapons. So I think our threat assessment should introduce the fact that this could be a complete unknown.
Okay. Here's a potential other avenue. What do you think they want from this planet? Do they have a goal of just taking over the planet, or is there some sort of resource? The Admiral said that they have considerable resources that the Federation is interested in. We might speculate that this other polity is interested in those resources.
And that's when the doctor chimes up from sickbay. Commodore, I'm going through the data here that they're sending us from the surface. They talked something about catacombs or caverns beneath the city.
Yes.
Is it possible that, seeing how this city was the only thing that was struck by the attack, could that have anything to do with this?
That's an interesting theory. Let's open a communication. Henson Singh, open a communication to the landing party.
Commodore, I have a suggestion if you would be willing to listen at this moment.
I am.
It is
Go ahead, Vic.
certainly possible that these attackers are acting as predators. If that is the case, they may not have left this system. Could we perhaps retask some of the evacuation shuttles to scan on the far side of the planet, or any moons or areas where they could be lying in wait?
The evacuation is pretty is looking pretty tight as it is. So I'm a little apprehensive about retasking some of the shuttles, but perhaps a probe or two can be sent to do the same thing. Is that something you can coordinate?
Yes, Commodore, though I would like to note that should we engage in a combat situation, the evacuation would be further delayed. Basically trying to convey that this Vulcan is like, yeah, sure, they're evacuating, but we should know the situation more than get the people up here.
I understand that perspective, Lieutenant. I think that the evacuees need to be our primary focus.
I will prepare several probes. Thank you, Commodore.
Love that. Okay, cool. So with that said, and Baral, what was your action? What was your action?
Raul was suggesting that we check out the
Got it. Okay,
catacombs.
so based off that, let's take action on all of what we've heard so far. Okay, so one is check out catacombs, so contact away teams. So let's have that conversation between now it'll be between the captain and between Thrabic. So now you're changing to Thrabic, Al. So Go ahead and have that conversation real quick. And let's assume we are all caught up. So let's continue the conversation from that point. Right.
Commander, we understand that you're starting to do some evacuations down into some catacombs underneath the city itself. Is that true?
We have established that, Commodore, that there are catacombs beneath the city, that that we can use that might protect us from energy weapons from above. That's a last resort situation. I have not gone down to explore them yet, but I suspect that you're about to ask me to.
I think so. So if I'm running the numbers on my pad here, and it looks like, there's probably somewhere in the neighborhood between 2,000 and 3,000 people who are not going to be able to get out in time. The catacombs seems like a good idea, but the doctor also has a theory that maybe there's something down there that the invaders are looking for. So I feel like this is a two birds, one stone situation where we could A, get some evacuation going there, and B, check out the doctor's theory and see if there's something interesting about these catacombs.
Very well. I will lead the way into the catacombs and see what we can find.
Okay, so that's a good order there. Let's go ahead. We don't need to do a task roll on that, I don't think. Okay, so go ahead, Meric. Go ahead.
Cave episode.
I know. Yeah. Okay, so let's get the smelly cat pee ready. According to all the actors, they said it smelled like cat pee. All right, so Meric, let's go ahead now and have you and Kamal work on this probe, okay? I'm going to assume that they're shot out there. So this is going to give us a chance to do a scan of the area, all right? I think that this is going to, because of the residual background radiation hampering medium and long-range scans, and a couple other factors, I am actually going to make this an opposed task. I'm not going to tell you why, but I'm going to look at my sheet over here real quick. Give me a second. And I'm now going to set this up as an opposed task. I won't tell you what I'm rolling on, but I'll let you know what you have to roll on in a second. I'm using my new dice from the starter set because I can. Okay, so let me see what this is going to be. Boom. Yep, okay. That there. And I'm preparing my roll. So this and security. So I'm doing my first roll here. Ooh, I rolled a 1 and an 8. Okay, and now I need to roll a support assist die, which I'm going to go with comms and security on this one. Oh my, 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be difficulty 4 for these probes. All right, difficulty 4. So talk it out. Who's taking lead? Meric, your character? Your idea.
Yeah, if it's control security, it makes a lot of sense. What is the scanning?
Yep. So just so you know what this is going to be, this is going to be control plus, actually, excuse me, let me start. This is actually now reason plus science. And I'll let you swap out security for that because you're a security officer with tactical. So, and that goes for you too, Jim, your character. It's going to be reason plus science. You could actually use con in this case, reason plus con. And with ships, sensors and science. Okay. So BC will have you roll for the ship, sensors and science. But let's go ahead and, Meric, go ahead and lead that roll off. This is difficulty 4. It's difficulty 5. I have the residual background radiation hampering medium as a trait. So this is actually bumped this to difficulty 5.
Yeah, so let's take a look at our other traits and see if we have anything that's going to help. Astropolitical awareness is not going to help us with a cloaked ship or a hiding ship. Augmented planetary data, no.
No, none of those will help.
No.
I can tell you that much.
Okay.
None of the current traits.
So,
all right.
sorry, I think I lost clarity about whether or not it's Lieutenant Vic and Lieutenant Kamal are doing this together.
Yeah, so Kamal's going to do the assist on it.
Okay.
I think Kamal might be better at this. Jim, what have you got?
What's the primary effort here?
This is it's basically the probes getting sensor information. So you would use control plus con.
Yeah, that's fine.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
I know that Kamal is a supporting character, but the write-up for Kamal has values. Are those values in play?
No, not for supporting characters. Yeah.
All right.
Do we? No, we don't. No,
That's fair.
no. Mm-mm.
Okay.
All right.
So reason security, not going to be the best for Vic. Vic is not very much the sciencey type person. He is a get things done kind of guy, and doesn't have as much time for the finer aspects of.
I'm just gonna stop you right there because these are Starfleet trainees, and I don't ever like people obsessing over numbers in this game. The dice decide, and I don't want to give people the wrong thing that you're always looking to have the highest number to roll on.
I'm trying to, what I'm trying to do is like build this character in my brain, and like, why does he have a reason 8 versus a control 11? And the idea is he's very much of a take action, and I think if he were anyone,
I'll let this be control. I'll let this be control and security. Yeah, that's totally makes sense. Tweaking the sensor readings, totally. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, it's more of an analytical thing than a trained thing in my idea.
For me, it's more of a let's not have this podcast go over too many minutes.
That's fair.
Let's move on, this please.
With a difficulty 5 though, let's buy some dice.
All right.
I advocate.
No, let's move on. Let's get. I know there's a lot of we can, but let's go through because I really want to finish this adventure.
Okay.
I don't want people to get into analysis paralysis. The dice will decide in the end, right? So let's just.
So how many additional dice do we feel like we should go for here with the difficulty 5?
You decide, Meric.
Yeah, we've got the we've got the ship assisting. We've got. I'm gonna buy 2 more. So with 1 momentum, and then we'll add 2 to threat.
Okay.
All right, here we go. That one is cocked. Oof! I rolled 2 19s and 2 9s, so we have 2 successes.
2 successes so far. Okay. On to your character, Jim.
I'm gonna roll the ship support.
BC is going to.
You see? Okay, so I rolled a 1 on my support.
Wonderful. That's 4 successes.
Okay, we're almost there.
Me. So I'm looking for a sensor science, which is 9 plus 3. 14.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to do a success at cost though on this. Okay, to expedite. And the reason everyone at home, I'm not usually this pushy as a GM, especially since we play on Discord, but I'm pushing this through for the sake of time and also encouraging you. Honestly, I'm like, throw those dice and tell the story from there. Don't try to succeed. Try to have an amazing story. That's what I encourage people to do, right? So we're going to go ahead and make this a success at costs, which means I get to add a complication to this. I'm calling it jammed.
Okay.
So jammed. And because of this is the scene that happens at this point. You send the probes out into the solar system, into this current system. You send it around the sun, around the planet, around some moons. From a meta viewpoint, this antagonizes the antagonist in this thing. And they're now moving the timetable up.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're getting no sensor readings. And then all of a sudden, boom, in your view screen, something the size of, and I'm only going to give this a comparison, even though this is way before its time, something the size of a Borg cube arrives within close range of the USS Challenger. Boom. And the whole ship shakes when it arrives and drops out of warp. Okay. The whole ship reverberates. And in fact, just to make things even more tense, I'm taking that threat. I have 13. I'm using 4 of it for a reversal. Just to make this really fun. When it warps in, it hits one of the shuttles coming in and completely sends it spinning, right? It didn't even touch them, but just the energy of it coming in just sent them off course and just spinning. So this thing had its shield. They basically bounced off of its shields coming in, all right? Though your ship doesn't detect anything about its shields being on, you all saw the visual effect. of this vessel bouncing off. Okay, commercial break on now.